Namaskar. Hello and welcome to Guru's channel. I'm your host, Sree Iyer. Joining me is Sriram Seshadri, and we are going to be talking about a few things in and around India, politics, and also what is happening in Tamil Nadu a little bit. Let's first welcome Sriram Seshadri ji. Sriram ji, Namaskar. Jai Sriram. How are you, sir?
Sir, Namaskar. Jai Sriram, sir.
Sriram ji, the first thing that I find it amusing that a party that has been at the forefront of changing constitution over 80 times now says that it is the defender of the constitution. And as far as I can tell, in the first few weeks of the NDA 3 or Modi 3.0, if you want to call it, because that is something that people relate to easily. I haven't seen any changes. I mean, in fact, I haven't seen anything happening from this government yet. So why this rhetoric when there is nothing happening?
Sir, namaskaram to all the P Gurus viewers. It's a very, very good question. See, Congress and the INDI Alliance fought the election by saying that if Modi comes to power the third time, and Modi was talking about 400 bar, 400 plus, if it happens, he's going to change the entire constitution. And what is so amusing and funny, Sree Iyer ji, was that a party which actually killed the democracy and the constitution of India in 1975 through the emergency is the party which is talking about all these things. What worries me, in fact, one of the things that I want to talk about is BJP's loud silence of countering lies in the show is that, BJP never defended this. So let's, for the sake of the viewers, because, at least, we have been educating our viewers in many ways. I want to educate the viewers that 2014 till 2023, the constitution was amended 7 times. Jawaharlal Nehru, when the constitution amendment happened, said that whenever there is a need and then for a common cause for the national development, for the sake of the nation, the constitution amendment is necessary and mandatory. Very fair argument. But when one looks at the overall amendments done by non-BJP government, it was 92 plus times out of 105 amendments that have happened so far. 106, I think, 106 amendments so far from 1951 onwards. 92 times it was amended by either Congress or Congress-supported governments. Of course, 𝗣𝗚𝗍𝗽 government also had some role in amendments, but we'll talk about, at least we'll rake up the memory of the public of the last 10 years. In the 10-year period, what Modi government amendments were, 99th amendment onward, if I am right, they actually amended the constitution in 2015. And later on, they just struck down some of the same amendments in the same year. April, they amended, and then October, they, struck down some of these things, like a national judicial appointments. Was this not necessary? Actually, government should not have gone back and then reversed this. But, was this not necessary? National Judicial Appointment Commission rather than the collegium appointing the judiciary? I think that was a very important one. But of course, Supreme Court struck it down into in October 2015 itself. So it has to be reversed. The second one was, to annex some of the territories of which was with Bangladesh. So that is once again for the national interest. The third one, 101st amendment, was to introduce goods and services tax. That's the biggest ever transformation that happened in the history of India. The fourth amendment, 102nd, happened in 2018 for constituting a national commission for backward classes. Very, very, very important amendments. And then the fifth one was in 2019 for providing EWS for economically weaker section 10. And this was supported by Congress and communists in the parliament. Now one may talk about all these things, but in Congress supported that, communists supported that in the parliament before the run-up to the election in 2019. Then when government came back in 2019, they made only 3 amendments. One was to the extension of reservation to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. This is a 10-year ritual that every time any government comes, which keeps doing it. In 2020 they did that, and then in August 2021 they restored the state rights to decide identify the backward classes or other backward classes. In fact, when people are talking about the rights of the states, and then parties like DMK, it was BJP through 105th Amendment in 2021 gave that power for the state government to say identify which are all the other backward classes for them to enable. The last amendment in 2023 that the government brought to Constitution was to reserve 1/3 of seats to Mahilas. See, I just listed this out. Can anyone question that BJP's amendments to the Constitution was to deprive a community or deprive any strata of the society? But what is surprising is BJP is silent. When most of the opposition members take a book of Constitution when they are taking the oath in the parliament, which is fair. I'm glad that all those parties which abuse the Constitution are holding the Constitution in their hand. The DMK leader Supremo Karunanidhi burnt the Constitution in some time, and then when a case was slapped on him, he said, "No, I only burnt empty paper, just a white paper, not the Constitution." So he escaped out of it. And Congress, which brought emergency. So all those anarchic parties are taking a lesson for BJP, and BJP is just zipped their mouth and then keeping silent. And I don't understand this loud silence, Sree Iyerji. In fact, I want to talk more about this loud silence on many other occasions, why this government and the party, I'm going to put that as a government roles and responsibility, and the party as a whole has to challenge what they are doing. But imagine the entire country is witnessing a propagated lies and fake propaganda that is being made, that Constitution, they are the custodians of the Constitution, as if they are protecting the Constitution, and the party in power is here to abuse. I just listed out the 7 occasions, Sree Iyerji, from 2014. What were the amendments? Can anyone challenge me? I'm happy to take on anyone on debate to say that out of the 7 amendments, what was detrimental to any society? Or what, has there been anybody which has been suppressed? Or has there been anything against the nation? I don't think any answer that I could get. But in spite of all these, there is a dead silence. And that is troubling. Is BJP, like 2004, it took them time to resurrect themselves after the 2004 election defeat. They said that, India is glowing. And then on top of that, after 𝗣𝗽𝗲 lost the election miserably, this is not a miserable loss. 240 seats. Yes, they are short of the majority, no doubt about it. But there are allies which are standing by you, by the BJP to support. And see, one thing that the characteristics of the government formation, one thing that I observed, why I'm still critic of appointing some of the members, some of the ministers. We talked about it in, I think, last week or week before, if I'm not wrong. Nirmala Sitharaman appointed as a finance minister. I really, as someone who has faced the election, faced the public, should be made the finance minister. But the government is trying to portray that nothing has changed. I'm sure that there is going to be a shuffle in a year or year and a half time when a lot of things would change. Because otherwise what the opposition would start peddling is, hey, look, the government now is afraid of the opposition. That is why they made the huge change on the portfolios, and all these blah 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 narratives would be peddled. And then once again, this side of the table, people will be just keeping a mum. In fact, a lot of people comment in Tamil. If you start watching some of the movies, you are eating mixture. There's a Countermany joke which comes that eating mixture, right? Tamil viewers would understand that movie comedy. But that is how BJP is currently in a fix, and they have not lost miserably. Of course, there's no clear majority, but Modi has actually projected that nothing has changed. They said that this government cannot form because they don't have the majority. The government was formed. They said TDP and JDU will not support the government. They came out supporting the government without any condition. Then opposition claimed that they are demanding 10-12 ministries, all the plum ministries and speaker posts. All we saw until today is Modi government 3.0 is status quo Modi government 2.0. I think that is what Modi is trying to project. Fair enough. But why should you take the shit? That's my question. Why is it? There are something that government should react, Sree Iyer ji. There are some places the party should react. But party is in such a slumber and silence as if that they are miserably down. And this is what I don't understand. The dead silence of the party, somewhere I don't understand. I'll pause here, and then we will take up the loud silence. I'll give 2 or 3 examples to talk about the loud silence where they should have acted but sleeping.
Thank you, Sriram ji. In about 5 minutes, you detailed the 7 amendments to the Constitution that BJP brought about. Somewhere, see, what happens is in 2014, there was a committee that was monitoring the elections in a BJP office, and this was a strategic committee. This was headed by Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and this was there to immediately rebut anything with facts.
Right.
And I don't see that committee in 2019 and 2024. Somewhere along the line, many things were considered not needed. Another thing I will tell you, in the 2024 elections, who did we see campaign for the BJP other than Modi and Amit Shah? When there was a real problem in Odisha, it was Yogi who went there to save that 𝙒𝙤𝙣𝙤 remark that was made by mistake by Sambit Patra.
Right.
It was not Modi, it was not Amit Shah.
So
if they felt that they will be the ones that they will be the ones who will be even allowing anything to be disseminated out, they themselves fell into this trap because Amit Shah's statement was twisted and made it look like we are going to change the constitution to remove reservations.
Right.
Somebody might say that, look, Mohan Bhagwat said the same thing in 2015, therefore it makes a lot of sense. But when they got this, Amit Shah went after the person who leaked it. Some action has been taken, I think, but I don't know where that stands. But just like you did now, if there was a strategic committee that was monitoring everything, this is like, what you call as a command central sort of thing. And they were the ones who they're not worrying about what anybody is saying. They are just making sure that the narrative never goes off the track.
Right.
Same thing happened when Modi said something to the effect that my mom passed away, I've been divined. It is easy to misinterpret these things. After all, most of us still don't know the difference between Brahma, Brahman, and Parabrahman. I'm not talking about Brahmin here. Brahmin is different.
I know.
Right. So whenever we talk about something that connects us with God, we have to be very careful. So this strategic committee is missing. I did not see Nitin Gadkari campaign. I did not see Rajnath Singh campaign. These are all the heavyweights in this cabinet. Nirmala Sitharaman, no show. She could have campaigned in Tamil Nadu, given that Annamalai was completely, struggling or fighting for his own seat. And why did they not come out and do it? See, these are all questions that are being asked. So somewhere there was overconfidence that we have done Ram Mandir, and therefore the vote is going to come and fall in our lap. I hate to say this thing, if Modiji or Amit Shah watch our program, they'll feel this guy is really, really sharp with his tongue. I'm sorry. I need you to understand that if you disconnect yourself from the people, this is what happens.
Precisely.
Again, I'm also hearing, sir, today, just I'll get back to 𝗟𝙬𝙤.
Yeah.
I'm also again hearing that many a house was destroyed to make the Ayodhya Ram Mandir, and the settlement has not been done even till today. There is actually anger and resentment on the ground. That's why even in Kashi, the margin by which Modi won was much reduced, because people said, look, you stole you demolished our houses, you promised us so much money, we have not got it. Maybe it is not Modi's fault, maybe he sanctioned it, but it is like this, right? Even if the God is willing to give me a boon, the pujari must allow it.
True.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Now, I think there are a lot of, I want to take 2-3 examples, Sree Iyerji, and then, see that, why, this is very important for the party to be a little more sensitive. You are very true to say that that committee which oversees the propaganda is missing, or the committee exists, but they don't, they are just in a deep slumber, right? I want to just talk about 2 or 3 incidents in the last 1 week where, in fact, I responded as an individual. I don't want to just boast myself to say that, but there are, of course, like me, there are thousands of people who are there who responds, but the government or the party is missing in action. I just want to take few examples of that. Number 1, there is a huge thing about NEET that is being talked about, right? There is a paper leakage, and then government jumped into the fact that there is a CBI inquiry. They have arrested few people from Bihar. They say that it is somewhere linked to 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙀𝘆 𝗢𝘂𝑚, and they say that people from Jharkhand Congress office. I don't know how far it is true or whatever it is, but it is a willful sabotage being done by some of the people involved in this examination. So it is definitely a letdown for the government. But look at the next set of narrative that is getting created. Wilson, a DMK MP, who has appeared for these cases and then lost in the Supreme Court, he is a Rajya Sabha MP. He created a tweet where he talked about the examination of this NET and NEET being conducted by National Testing Agency, and then he goes on to say that this is a cooperative society. This is an organization created under the Cooperative Societies Act, and hence it is not a governmental agency. Fair point, but then he builds a story on that, and I'm appalled to say that this news reached whoever it has to reach, but it has not been countered. In fact, it came to, I just saw it when I was tweeting it, and then I just tweeted back to say that, compared it with SAT. Many of you know what is SAT, right? In the US, if a bachelor degree, someone has to appear, you need to appear for a SAT examination, and then based on that score, you get into a premium college or not. So on behalf of, yes, sir.
It's called Scholastic Aptitude Test, and it's got 2 sections. It used to have 3, now only 2 sections. Math and English. 800 is the maximum you can score, and this is just the basic SAT. Then you have for different subjects also, like physics, for biology, chemistry, math, and so on and so on. That's advanced SAT. Back to you, sir.
Exactly. So the SAT examination is conducted globally. It's not just for the US. For people like India who want to appear, you appear on SAT examination. This is on behalf of the college board, is conducted by an agency which is a not-for-profit organization. Just to the comparison, a global examination for the students who need to join their bachelor's degree in the US across the globe, whoever wants to join, must appear for the SAT examination. And this is being conducted not by the government, not by the college or not by the college board, but by an agency, not-for-profit organization agency, which conducts this. So where is the accountability laws if it is a cooperative society or a government organization? See, this is where nobody came back with data points to defy this argument and then, demolish this argument. So slowly what happens, Sree Iyer ji, when people do not respond to such thing? I want to just contrast, talk about it. Congress Kerala, when Nitin Gadkari announced electrical vehicle policy that they want to do away with diesel and petrol engine vehicles by 2035, and then all vehicles will be replaced with electric vehicles. That policy document that is talking about, a brilliant article written by Congress Kerala, which actually opposed the idea to saying that the pollution control is a myth. Whatever the pollution created by the fossil fuel cars is going to be substituted by the coal-fired electricity generation. And then the narrative built was brilliant. In fact, when someone and it has a very long thread, when someone reads through it, it's a brilliant argument that it has been put up. I'll probably share that it is in my timeline. I'll probably share, if possible, before this show, or at least I'll paste that link in the YouTube and people can see. And then what happens is BJP Keralam came back with a response within minutes of this tweet being put up. They came back with a response, breaking every argument, disputing, not just disputing, they just busted every argument made by Congress, Kerala Congress, because Kerala Congress social media ID is being used by the entire Congress ecosystem as an intellectual, ID. If one observes how things are happening, right? And then, this is what is coming out. But BJP Keralam jumped into it, responded back, busting every argument to say that, the first fundamental assumption made by that article by Congress, Kerala, was that the entire electricity manufacturing is by coal-fired, generation unit. And then, then it gave data points with respect to how many are renewable energy, what is the percentage of renewable energy that is coming into, and even the coal-fired, electricity generation plants, how efficient. And they assumed the oldest data of 1960s and 70s efficiency of 30% efficiency of coal-fired, right? But then they actually busted every argument. One could say that nobody is going to read the thread of 15, 16 tweets, but if someone who is reading Congress thread of 15, 20 tweets, I'm sure the rebuttal also would be read. I think this is where the social media, IT and social media in BJP, which had the fire in the belly in 2014, to some extent a good response in 2019. From 2019 onwards, they have been just sleeping. They're probably in a coma stage. Nobody even knows what is the role of a BJP's IT and social media wing. Maybe everybody uses that as a visiting card, saying that I am a office bearer in BJP. But there are only two things they do. One is they promote hashtags. Probably every day morning, they probably get into a call amongst themselves and say, oh, here is a hashtag that we will promote. And then, a million hashtag has been posted, the trending, blah, blah, blah. The second thing that do is they put up a BGM music of some actions and then they just put that up. There is no intellectual data points that is coming out of this IT wing and social media wing of BJP countering any of the narratives. I just gave two contrast differences. and of course BJP Kerala is one exception. Take any other part of the country. I think, Delhi is something to, when 𝗤𝗏𝗍 Swaraj came to forefront, she is actually firing from all cylinders, and then one could see that, BJP Delhi is in some actions. But otherwise, look at the way. When the national testing agencies, questions come out, government cannot come out and then say that, okay, this happened, this period, that period. But a party can definitely dig out the data. With the access to the government, they can dig out the data and then do it. The committee that you talked about, Sree Iyerji, ideally, there are thousands of supporters for the party who are actually taking time to, bust the narratives, but they do have their limitations. Because the supporters, this is not a full-time job of them. This is not their responsibility. It is out of affection they are doing it. But when the party is sleeping in a deep sleep, naturally the supporters also lose steam, because they don't, what is in it for them, right? When the party is not interested, why should I be running behind to do that, except that they have some passion and support for them? Coming to the government side, the INB ministry under Anurag Singh Thakur didn't even exist. No, if someone wants to know a report card of Anurag Singh Thakur, probably it can be written on the stamp papers, back of the stamp paper, right?
I think you meant postage stamp.
Postage stamp, yeah, not the judicial stamp paper. It's a postage stamp. One could just even then there will be a lot of space left out. Murugan was an MOS INB. There's so much of fake news being peddled. Forget about fake news. Modi was abused in the Tamil Nadu media, and Murugan was a MOS who should have gone through that and then either given a rebuttal, taken disciplinary action, taken some corrective actions. Nothing. And then, IT policy, governing a YouTube channel policy. These are all very much needed. I've been screaming on top of my voice for last 5-6 years that there is nothing to govern the YouTube channels. At least, in newspaper media and registered media, there is a editorial board. There are some restrictions that, the editorial board is accountable for. In a YouTube media, there's nobody is accountable. Tomorrow, you and I together run a program of a Malafide campaign. We can be slapped with certain criminal charges if you are committed a crime, Sree Iyerji. But nobody can take action on to say that, okay, this has to be brought down, or no editorial responsibility. Nothing exists. This regulation is a must. Someone like a 𝗒𝗏 can come and send out so much of fake news, and then that gets millions of see, you have heard of the concept called engagement farming, right? The industry, there are agencies which does an engagement farming. It's called engagement farm, where they have instruments which is thousands of views that get generated on YouTube within minutes, and then that puts everything on top of everybody's viewership. So there is an inorganic way that one can create the views, million views or something like that. And then naturally that becomes very popular. Then everybody starts talking about it. Everybody starts trending about it. There's nothing to govern these. Government should realize that the constitutional problem that is this is on the government. It is not on a party. It is on the government. And government should bring out a policy, bring out a statute, bring out something like this. Been telling this. And now came this ministry is under 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗏 𝗢𝗏𝗍𝗏. He handles 3 important portfolios: information technology, information and broadcasting, and railways. 3 large portfolios. At least one of the cabinet could have been given to someone else, like a PMK, accommodate PMK into that, so that you have an alliance. So I'm just talking about politics here plus the governance. But 3 important portfolios, which one he will concentrate? There are a lot of issues coming on railways. So probably railways need an independent cabinet minister, right? Independent person who is in charge of the ministry. Yesterday I saw someone tweeting with a video saying that heavy rains in the North India, where inside the train there is Actually, it is between two compartments. The vestibule, there was a shower-like thing happening, right? But it's a maintenance flaw. But 𝗒𝘨𝑚 Vaishnav cannot be going in and then fixing this problem. But an administration that is failing, he has to take accountability and action. And we saw Delhi Indira Gandhi Airport Terminal 1, the front, got damaged, and then there was an accident. One person lost life, and then, the roof fell down. It is an accident. But look at the way the response is coming out, Sree Iyerji. Oh, this is constructed in 2009 during UPA 2 regime. Yes, it was a response to the media to say that 3 months before only this terminal was inaugurated by Modi and it has fallen. So it is a response. But where is the accountability? GMR, which is the agency that is responsible, that has been given the main contract to manage, it is a third party. And then everybody, you and I who travel via Indira Gandhi Terminal, International Terminal 1 in Delhi, pay a usage fee, convenience fee, user access fee or something like that. Through every airline booking you do that, there is a significant charge that goes towards user access fee. And that is going to the GMR, and then they are not maintaining. Airport Authorities of India, who is supposed to inspect to see whether it is being maintained or not. Everybody is sleeping, and then when there is an accident happens, naturally the government is going to be under question. Government goes to be questioned. But what is the response coming out from a party? Forget about the government. There is a rhetorical question that has come up, and then for which you say it is constructed in 2009. But how is that news getting spread, Sree Iyerji? That the party's response is it is done in 10 years back or 14 years back. And then, they are still in the last 10 years, what is their accountability? Shouldn't the government, shouldn't the party which is coming out with a response saying that, okay, here are the actions that we have taken. Number one, this is not the one that is inaugurated in 3 months back. That's fair. That point is fair. But after that, what are you trying to do? How are you trying to bust the narrative, fake narrative being set up to say that, what actions, GMR or the Airport Authorities of India, someone is suspended who is accountable for this inspection. So nothing is being happening. See, I'm just expressing my anguish. I think, people will understand that. Yeah, it is just 15 days or 3 weeks from the time the government is formed. I'm just saying, the dead silence in the 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever that is happening, and the parliament is being taken for a ride. Rahul Gandhi has tweeted stating that, we wanted to discuss about NEET, and then government is running scared and then afraid and then running out. He's just tweeted a long, lengthy one. And imagine who is responding to that, who is busting this. It is the commoners, not the party, which is supposed to come back and then say, in spite of Om Birla and the speaker, Dhankar, who is a vice president, and then who is the speaker and the Rajya Sabha, both of them saying that, let us complete the first protocol of motion of thanks to president. Narrative could be just turned around, saying that, is Congress not willing to complete the agenda of motion of thanks to president just because the president comes from a tribal community? You could actually set the narrative in a way that it just hits below their belt. I did that. Actually, if you look at my Twitter line today, I did that. Is Rahul Gandhi an entitled leader who doesn't want the motion of thanks to be completed? That it's a protocol laid out for last 75 years. A motion of thanks is the first agenda of any time there is a parliament is convened. And, you don't want to complete that because, you have something. So you, as a politically, a party could translate this into a different rhetoric. Of course, the government is willing to do the discussion, but after this, but lost opportunity. Yes, you have another 5 years to election, but you have 3 or 4 months to election in some of the states. And election winning alone is not going to help. It is people who needs to be told, where is your aggression? 2014, Modi set the agenda. And today, Congress has taken that position, if you observe the Sree Iyer. I'll just pause here for us to discuss other things or take some questions. But, I just expressed my anguish of a failure from the party, failure from the official machinery of not responding credibly. It's just only a rhetorical response comes, but not coming out with consensus building with the public. Forget about, I don't want them to build the consensus with all the party, but build the consensus with the public. Give them the data point, over communicate. 2024 election loss is because of lack of communication from the government and the spokespersons of the party. You need to over communicate. That's what the opposition did very efficiently. I'll pause here, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a back-to-back program. We are going to be following with Tamil program. So I'm just going to go to question and answers now, and maybe some things may have to be expanded a little bit. But sure. Please, there are about 8-9 questions. I'm going to try and go through all of them, and yes, maybe 1 minute per question. NN wants to know, Modiji is in love with his world leader image and forgot he's a Hindu first. Will not do anything affecting his image and be called a dictator. Hence, silent on many things. Thoughts?
Sir, I think, Modiji, yes, he loves that image, nothing wrong in that. And then he is also a Hindu first. He has always expressed his ideological belief. He has never ever worn a skull cap to appease a Muslim. He has never worn something to represent himself as by a religion. But he has worn attire for the region to identify himself, saying that I am for that particular region. When he comes to Tamil Nadu, wears a dhoti. When he goes to Northeast, wears some the relevant attires. But that is different from the religious, representations. Even if he goes for a function in a mosque, he doesn't wear a skull cap just to appease them. I think he has done that. But decisive actions, and he cannot be responding to everything. There has to be various levels of people who has to respond. And that is missing. Everybody is sleeping. They are all I'm just calling Amit Malviya ineffective. Well, he may feel offended, he's a good, he's a friend, and then, I don't have much of interactions with him, but he may feel offended. I'm no one to him, but let him get offended. But that's a reality. And government not responding with data points. That's government response also is more rhetoric. And that's where my worry is, sir.
Next question from Magnet Ranga. Namaskaram. Should the BJP bring a white paper on all the changes made by Congress over the years, including surreptitiously introducing secular word?
Absolutely. When this question of constitution, custodian of constitution issue comes up, and it should have been an electoral rhetoric. At least when there is an emergency is being declared, and then we were actually talking about it 2 days back, I think 25th or 26th of June, in the parliament also there was a motion, put up by the speaker for vote. But imagine that, it has to be done in a gala manner to say that, how Congress has abused the constitution. I think 90 plus times they have dissolved an assembly, state government. How many, and out of that, several can be quoted as, in an illegal way. How many times you can talk about a 𝗣𝗽𝗲𝗿 or a Modi government dissolving an assembly? Of course, 𝗒𝗏 𝗏𝗼 case came, and then that gave a lot of restrictions. That's a different story. But how many times you need to go on talking about it? How Congress is moving this ahead? Hey, come on, this happened 50 years back. It is no longer relevant. Actually, they are ridiculing and trivializing this, saying that, if someone talks about emergency and then imposed by Congress, they are just saying that, okay, that's a past is past, and then we have apologized and let's go forward. But you should not do that. I think this is where the party is failing, Magnet Ranga.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Stephen Andrews wants to know, can anyone convince the Napunsak to step down? Shades of Manmohan Singh, the original Napunsak, and that's not good. Make way for Yogi Ji.
Who's Napunsak? Do you understand that? Modi. I think, Modi is the best suited. I don't think, and I don't want to say what is, I don't know the meaning of this Napunsak. It is that Napunsak, and it is
Important.
important. Okay, I don't want to use that word. That's something that I don't acknowledge, Stephen. But yeah, he has done a lot of great things. I think you cannot take it away from him, and he may be needed, but there has to be. He is not the only one. I think there has to be a lot of other leaders that needs to come to prominence. A lot of leaders that needs to be in the regional leaders, regional satraps that need to come up. Let there be a competition. Let there be a fight for position, but allow that competition to exist. I think that's the DNA of BJP, and then they should get back to that.
Next question from Suresh Kumar. Will BJP be taken over by the RSS?
Excellent question. BJP is a political wing of RSS. That's what the Congress say. And then, yes, they were created. Jansangh was created by RSS. And RSS does have some control over it. But I'll tell you a little more than this, right? RSS did actually warn BJP that, they are not going to win third time in a big majority. And it was Modi and Amit Shah's conscious decision not to involve RSS. And that's my understanding from my gossips and my internal discussions with both the sides. I understand that both Modi and Amit Shah didn't want that to happen. And then, RSS, stepped aside, and then probably that's one of the reasons. But BJP should be guided by RSS. I think now they have come to an agreement or understanding that both need to coexist. BJP needs RSS, RSS needs BJP. I think that coexistence is a must for BJP to, stride forward.
Next question. Srikant Iyer wants to know, he's asking me, could it be bureaucratic foul play about Ayodhya compensation? It's possible. Srikant, it is possible. They are known to do things like this, but then you're also talking about direct benefits transfer, right? So in effect, you would have had the account details when they were giving over the house rights. Yeah. It could have been done immediately.
Absolutely.
Because they don't have a house at that moment. They don't have a house at that moment. Where do you think they would have gone and stayed? These are tough questions to answer because we don't happen to be in this kind of a firing line, but it's a very difficult situation. Next question from Ananda Gopalan Kedambi. BJP should talk about laws which were made redundant and make the judiciary more effective. Why not?
See, judicial accountability bill was brought in, and then it was struck down by Supreme Court. And then I talked about, one of the constitutional amendment for judicial commission that was struck down by Supreme Court. I think they should keep trying this out. I think the new criminal law which came into force from July 1st onwards, there are a lot of restrictions that are there, which means, you cannot take an adjournment more than 2 times, right? A court cannot allow an adjournment more than 2 times on any of these. So, which means the cases had to be done very fast. There are a lot of redundant laws that have been taken out of circulation. They have been, taken out from our statutes. There are a lot of, there are about 290 labor codes, which are now consolidated into only 4. So a lot of reforms have happened, but only thing is, who knows these reforms happened? Where are you going and trumpeting this? That's where the challenge is. You need to over-communicate, Ananda Gopalan ji, that you need to over-communicate that what has happened. So when you ask this question, I just immediately, that came to my mind was a simplification of, labor code. There are at least, 800 to 900 laws that have been expunged from our statutes. But where are they communicating these? I think that's where the challenge is.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Ask Sriram. HealthTuber wants to know why there is no census conducted now. Are Muslims and Christians becoming 30% of the population?
So I think census has to be conducted every 10 years. So 2011 and then, 2021, the census should have been done. But because of COVID, the census could not be done completed. And then, naturally, there was an election that was coming in. So 2025 is when the census would be taken. That is what the government had promised. And, there is also controversy that we are talking about caste-based census. Tamil Nadu government is, avoiding to do the caste survey, but, caste-based census should be done. There are a lot of repercussions of caste-based census. What are you going to do with the caste-based census? I think that's a fundamental question one needs to answer when you want to do the caste-based census. Supreme Court clearly ruled out. I just want to extend this answer to this question, Sree Iyer, and then use it as an anchor point. Supreme Court clearly ruled saying that you cannot give a representative reservation based on the caste, percentage. That has been ruled out by the Supreme Court, which is also right in my, opinion. Imagine if you say there is a 3% population of Brahmins, and then there is a 10% of scheduled caste, and then there is let me take 2 or 3 castes. Patels are 4%. Then there is Thakurs are 5%, and I've got Thakur comes in the FC, of course, and there are Meenas, which is about 3%. If I just take this, and then if I say, because you are a 3% representation, I'll give you 3% reservation. What will they do? They will work on overpopulation. Okay, let me do that 10 years down the line. Let me increase my population from 3 to 3.5% so that I will have a 0.5% extra reservation. I think that's a very, very, very wrong thing for the nation. That's why current reservation system, which is for a community, a backward community, OBC, SC, ST, and forward community, it is for a group of castes put together. The group of castes can move from one group to another. Say FC probably want to notify them as a OBC, or SC, or you want to notify them as SC. Those problems do happen. See, that's what happened in Rajasthan, Gujars versus Meena issue. The Gujars were OBC, they wanted to get a SC, which means the SC's population is going to agitate. Of course, there are some challenges that would keep coming in, but the Mandal Commission case, Supreme Court ruled 49.5% reservation that cannot exceed. Of course, there are a couple of states which has a 65-69% reservation on top of it, which is protected under Schedule 9, which Supreme Court ideally should take it up to review that. That's a different story altogether. But what will you do with the caste census? Rahul Gandhi is talking about caste census. It will divide the country. Because, for example, a dominant caste, let's take Patel, is 10% of the population in the state of Gujarat, let's say. They'll say, at least in my state reservation, I need 10%. Then what will you do with, say, for example, Muslim is only 2% in the state? What will you do with them? And Supreme Court also ruled very clearly that, reservation cannot be on a religion base. You cannot give a reservation to religion. That is also abused by Tamil Nadu government. There is a 3.5% reservation for Muslims. But what they have done is they have identified some of them as a MBC. So they have camouflaged it under the caste combination. But the census will happen in 2025, but the caste-based census is not required. Of course, religion definitely will come out, and Christians would be in, the crypto Christians would be far more higher. Muslims are very straightforward in identifying themselves as Muslims, but Christians don't. They do have a caste certificate from Hindu, but whoever has been converted, but they don't represent themselves as Christians when it comes to record taking. There are numerous leaders we can talk about. I can list at least 10-15 leaders in Tamil Nadu who are all converted and then who are all practicing Christianity, but they have their certificate as Hindus. I think those needs to be strictly taken into account. I think census would come out in 2025 is what my guess is.
Thank you so much, Sriram ji. Sorry about that. We'll be back again in 10 minutes time in Tamil. And please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. There are lots of new topics that will be discussed in Tamil. So do join us again for that. Thank you so much, sir. See you very soon.
Thank you, sir.